Driverless cars. Would you travel in one? Well, there's a trial taking place in the UK to see if they can be used on public roads. Hello, I'm Rob and this is News Review from BBC Learning English. And to talk about this story, I'm joined by Neil. Hello, Neil.
Hi Rob, hello everybody. Yes, if you'd like to test yourself on the vocabulary that you hear in this programme, there's a quiz on our website at bbclearningenglish.com. But now let's hear some more about the story from this BBC News report.
Preliminary trials of the Fetch driverless cars have been going on for some time around Milton Keynes Stadium, but the company and the local council now feel the time is right to take them out onto public roads. The vehicles are not completely autonomous. They're controlled remotely by an operator who has a 360-degree view of the roads from cameras mounted onto the body of the car. And for the next few months, the cars will have a safety driver to intervene should there be a problem. It's the first time that driverless vehicles have been tested in the UK.
So, driverless cars. It's a technology that is coming and they make people feel a little bit nervous, but there is a trial going on in the UK at the moment in the city of Milton Keynes to test and see how safe they are before they can start being used properly.
Yes, and we've got 3 words and expressions that we can use to talk about this news story. What are they, please, Neil?
We have kick-off, large scale, and hit.
That's kick-off, large scale, and hit. OK, well, let's have a look at your first news headline to learn about one of those words. What is it, please? OK,
so looking in the Times newspaper, that's from the UK, we have the headline, "Driverless cars kick off by taking footballers to training."
That's kick off, begin, start.
That's right. Kick off is a phrasal verb made up of the first part kick and then the particle off.
And we hear this expression used in football, don't we?
Yeah, so at the beginning of a football match, there is the kick-off, that's a noun, or the players kick off as a verb, and it means just start the game. Obviously, in football, you kick the ball, and so kick-off means start the football match.
So, are we talking about football in this story here?
Well, actually, we're not, no. So, kick-off originates from football, but it can be used in a wide variety of other contexts, just meaning to start something. Although actually in this story there is a connection to football because the trial involves footballers from the team MK Dons transporting them around. So the headline writer has had a bit of fun there. He's using kick-off to mean start something in general, but there is a connection to its original meaning about football.
Yeah, I get that. Right, OK. And it's quite an informal expression, this one as well, isn't it?
That's right, yes. You wouldn't see in, you know, sort of official documentation about the start of something, you wouldn't see the verb kick off, but we use it all the time and it's okay to use in headlines, obviously.
Yeah, OK, so we kick something off or we kick off something. That's the kind of way we use it generally, yeah?
That's right. The verb can be separated, so that means you can put something in the beginning. We can kick off the project or kick the project off.
OK, great. Let's have a summary then of that phrase. So we've been talking about kick-off, but we use the word kick in another English expression, to kick something into the long grass. And we talked about this expression in one of our videos, The English We Speak. How can we watch that video again, please, Neil?
Yes, don't kick it into the long grass. Watch this video by clicking on the link below.
Yeah, it's just down below there. Great. OK, let's have a look at your next headline, please. OK,
the next headline comes from BBC News and it is Milton Keynes to hold large-scale driverless car trial.
That's large scale, involving many people or things.
Yeah, so large scale here, an adjective made up of 2 parts. Large, obviously that means big, and scale. And scale refers to the size of something. And it isn't necessarily something big or small. Scale in itself is neutral. It needs something to modify it, like large in this example.
Large scale, okay, but when I use maps, I see a scale on there. Is that a similar thing? Is that related?
Yeah, that's right. So when you look at a map, you'll see that there is a scale, and it tells you what the relationship is between the size of the map and the size of the real thing that the map is describing.
Yeah, very useful indeed. So large scale is about lots of things and people, or about a large area. So sometimes we might see large scale flooding after a storm over a large area, yeah?
Yeah, that's right, Rob. So as you said, and in this example, it's a large scale project or experiment and involving a lot of people. But large scale can also be used to describe a geographical area that's affected by something. So as you said, large scale destruction or devastation caused by a natural disaster.
And we also know that the recent COVID pandemic, that's had a large scale impact on the economy, on businesses.
That's right. Yes, exactly. Yeah, the COVID-19 has had a really large scale impact, a huge scale.
Okay, let's now have a summary of that expression. Something that had large-scale devastation last year was the tornadoes that happened across parts of the USA. And we talked about that on News Review. And you can watch that video again. So tell us how, please, Neil.
Yeah, to see that story about the terrible large-scale destruction caused by those tornadoes, just click on the link below.
Thank you. Right, it's time now to look at your next headline, please.
Yeah, my next headline comes from Autocar, a magazine dedicated to cars. And the headline is "Driverless Cars to Hit Public Roads in Milton Keynes."
So the word is hit, make an impact on. Yeah,
now hit is one of those words in English that has lots and lots and lots of different meanings, as we've discovered researching this programme, haven't we, Rob?
Yeah.
But in this headline, we have a quite common expression hidden in this headline, hit the road. Now, we use the expression hit the road to mean go somewhere, leave. For example, if we were at a party and you, Rob, wanted to stay longer than me and it was getting really late, I might say to you, come on, Rob, it's time to hit the road. And it means leave. But actually in this, the sense of hit in this sentence is not connected to that. It's more to do with impact in general, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're not talking about physical impact. I mean, we could argue this is a bad choice of word because hit sounds like something's going to crash, but we're using it more figuratively, aren't we?
Yeah, so we're talking about the impact, the metaphorical or figurative impact of this trial on the roads of a city in the UK, Milton Keynes. So when we say that it's going to hit, it means that it's going to start and that there will be an impact because it's a noticeable thing for driverless cars to suddenly be used on the roads.
And say hit is a good headline word to use in this context.
Yeah, it's short and it's dramatic, so that's perfect for a headline.
Yeah, we could say, going back to the coronavirus pandemic, we could say that, you know, the effects of coronavirus, it's hit the economy. It's had an impact on the economy.
Yeah, it's hit the economy. It's hit the whole population. And we can also talk about, you know, a new piece of technology has hit the shelves or hit the market. A new type of phone may have hit the market. Again, it's connected to impact, which makes it close to the meaning of that original hit, meaning, you know, smash something with force.
Great. Thank you for making that clearer. Let's have a summary of that word hit. Okay, it's time now, Neil, to recap the vocabulary that we've discussed today.
Yes, we have heard kick off, meaning begin or start. Large scale involving many people or things, and hit, make an impact on.
And now, don't forget, you can test yourself on the words and the phrases that we've talked about today in a quiz, and that's on our website at bbclearningenglish.com. That's the place to go to check out all our Learning English materials. And don't forget, of course, we're on social media as well. Well, that's the end of News Review for today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.